a guy wearing cat ears, a violin made of trees and human hair, and a femboy saving the day. We're going to talk about all that and more on today's review of Marriage Toxin, Episode 5. Yo, what's up? Welcome back. Welcome if you're new. My name is Mark, and today, again, we're talking about Marriage Toxin, Episode 5. If you want to see my reaction to it, you can check it out for free over on Patreon. Link in the description down below. Also, like, subscribe, do all the good jazz, and you get your shout out everywhere. But yeah, so this episode was really, really good. It was also insane. Not gonna lie, they had me in the first half. Honestly, like when they started, because the way this goes, they're doing the test of courage, as we learn. Of course, because of course they're gonna do a test of courage. That's like the most classic thing to do. And so, the test of courage goes how you expected it to go. They luckily, Geto and fucking, what's her name? Shiori. They're going together because obviously he's protecting her, so that's a good thing. And she's worried that he's going through all this trouble for her, but then he reassures her that it's okay. That's why he's here, so she can just have fun and be a normal person while he's taking care of everything else. And eventually they reach a stand where they take like a selfie. It's actually kind of cool. And the whole thing doesn't work out because photos taken. We see something fucking creepy. I get jump scared. And honestly, what proceeds is a chase to the shrine. She's... What's her name again? I keep forgetting her name. Shiori. She runs to the shrine. She's led to the shrine, actually. Because, like, Geto went missing. This whole time she was being manipulated somehow. I'm still not quite sure how the Soundmaster's whole control stuff works, but it works apparently. And so she thought she was alone, chasing, looking for like Geto because he disappeared. At least that's what she was led to believe. And eventually arrives at the shrine, and she meets her dad, who's a ghost. And it's just a huge hallucination that as they start talking about the how she's an offering for the Lord. I didn't write the name down, but she's an offering for that Lord that they talked about last episode. I legitimately thought that this was like a separate plot from the Soundmaster. Like I was going in during the reaction, being like, oh, okay, so she's actually an offering. But no. This whole thing was an elaborate ruse set up by Naruto, the Soundmaster. Which, I mean, fair enough. He's gonna set up something like that. Hey, at least he's setting it up well. Because that tricked me. And I completely forgot about the how the eyes look when they're being controlled. I didn't put two and two together until this episode. That the big guy that was the big like creature thing was part of Naruto. Anyways, that's not important. What is important is that she. Okay, I gotta be very careful how I say this. Naruto is trying to manipulate her into no longer existing. Yeah. No longer existing with what could be a rope in a particular shape. And fortunately, it doesn't work. Unfortunately, it almost did. But then she breaks free of the compulsion, and she's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna survive. And then she jumps out the window and almost lands and breaks her neck. But luckily, Geto saves her, and then proceeds. From here on out, I have taken notes for this part, because this is when I really started taking notes. And what Geto puts two and two together, that this whole thing was set up by Naruto, because they got to make this look like an accident, or like an accident. And so, because if it was like a murder, if she died from murder, she'd that would like raise suspicion on the family. And it just would defeat the purpose of everything that they're doing. And so that happens. That we learn that. And then finally we get to see a more of a chase / fight between the two. And it's more of a chase because like Geto's running away with her while he's chasing them. And it's a really cool chase scene. I keep wanting to call it a fight, but it's not really a fight. But it is really cool how somehow he's like physically manifesting his sound waves into blades. Unless that's like just for us in the way that's not actually showing up in the in like where they are, in the same way like Demon Slayer, the effects that we see for like the water breathing and all the breathing, that's not actually like happening in there. It's just sword fighting, just made to look cool for us. It could be that situation. I don't actually know. But what I do know is that it looked really cool. The camera shots were good, and he's managing to control them, try to control them. But then she's like, yo, we have headphones. I have headphones. We can pair them up. And they're cat ear headphones, and they're awesome. And unfortunately, it still works. She still gets controlled. Because he's like, yo, I can vibrate through like everything apparently and just control you that way. But then also, once Gero's running out of, has no sound, he uses the toxin Lunar Peak, which apparently ups his strength and skin sensitivity. Whatever the fuck that means. I don't know how it works. Halfway through the episode, I stopped questioning how half this shit worked. I mean, I still asked, but I didn't actually expect to like figure it out or get an answer. Because like, it just doesn't matter at this point. But I like the name, Lunar Peak. That's pretty cool. And we also get to thinking how eventually she manages to get controlled by him. And unfortunately, she runs away. But she runs into her uncle. Her uncle who's like personified, like into big. Her uncle's really big. I don't know if that's like just to make it like amplify him because like he's not actually there, so he can just make him bigger, or if he's actually that big. Doesn't matter at this point, but he's a big guy. And so, but then as she's starting to get controlled by the uncle, like scaring her or trying to like break her, Naruto says that Urashino is a treasure trove of trauma. And that's not great. I mean, it's okay. That's not great, but plot-wise, it's great for us because that's more stuff we get to see happen. But it's not great for her. That it sucks that she's a treasure trove of trauma. But then, before the trauma can take hold, Gero comes in and just roundhouse kicks the uncle in the head, or the uncle that was personified. I'm not sure what exactly the uncle is there. If he's like a physical thing that anyone can see, or if it's only that she can see. Not quite clear on that one yet. But he roundhouse kicks him, and then he goes on a spiel about how it's bullshit. Because, and talking about the uncle, who we learned the uncle's the GOAT. He went through a lot of bad bodyguard scumbags before he landed on Gero. And every time he paid them off to like a severance to like stop hiring them. Like he kept going. Like he didn't stop. And the only reason he landed on Gero is because he hired Gero only after reading a 10K character review, which was written by Kitami, who is a fanboy for the Thief, part of the fan club for the Thief. I don't remember what her name is at this point. Himakawa. And so that was cool. That was actually really cool. That the uncle was like, and then Gero was like, would your uncle really go through all that if he didn't care? Basically is what he says. And that's true. The uncle's the GOAT. He's so cool, man. He's also really strong, which is really cool. But, where is this? Where am I now? I forgot to write down where I am in each part. But, eventually, things escalate until they arrive. They're running still. They land and outside, like on a road where Kinosaki is, because I fucked up. The only time I've actually ever called Kinosaki a she is this one time. I've been very good about not doing that because I know better. But Kinosaki, the femboy, he shows up, and because he's like following the GPS tracker, and he's like, yo, where are they? They appear on the road. And then Kinosaki saves the day essentially by taking Shiori away, and is like, yo, I just this once, even though I'm your marriage advisor, I'll take care of her. And so Kinosaki is the GOAT. And I wasn't gonna mention this actually, but regarding Kinosaki, I owned up to the mistake of calling Kinosaki a she, because I know it's a mistake. A lot of people, for some reason, genuinely seem to be under the delusion that Kinosaki is a girl and not just a femboy. And I don't get it. Kinosaki has stated in the episode, in episode 1 or episode 2, whatever, his gender. And then has continued, and I'm pretty sure they've actually acknowledged Kinosaki as a dude over time, and like as pronoun wise. I don't get why people are so under the delusion that Kinosaki's a girl when femboys exist for a reason. But also, they're just coping. They can't acknowledge the fact that they like a guy, and so they have to cope with the fact that Kinosaki could theoretically look like a girl, but actually isn't a girl. Anyways, tangent aside, thus begins the final showdown between Geto and, or what we believe to be is the final showdown between Geto and Naruto. And one thing leads to another, and Naruto is like, yo, let's end this and create something called the Grand Actor, which is really cool, really big. And it's a whole thing made, it just vibrates a lot, and a lot, and a lot. And it's big, really big, kind of scary. And, where is this? And Geto tries to, at one point, I don't know where this is actually, but Geto tries to cut the strings with his, what do you call it? Cement killer? Cement something? No, metal killer? The thing that he uses to clean that could even melt like metal or whatever. He tries to do that, but it doesn't work because the strings vibrate before something can reach them, which actually, that makes sense. That makes sense. They're going so fast that nothing can reach them. That actually makes sense. Logically, to me, it makes sense. And then the final, like, they start going for it, but then, and so the Grand Actor starts chasing after Geto, and Geto's, he's surviving, but then he's like, yo, here's something, throws something out, and then as he's about to get hit, he doesn't get hit, and Naruto's like, what the fuck, what'd you do to my bro? And shows up, and we see that Roots have captured the fist of the giant thing, the giant Grand Actor. And and apparently it's because he used what's like a tree grower, root grower. I'm not quite sure what he did, but he grew the trees really fast and captured them before the fist could make contact. I stopped for the most part genuinely questioning what the fuck is going on, but it is kind of funny to think about magically just throwing it on there and the tree immediately grows to massive size and catches a fist. But anyways, that happens, and then finally he's like, yo, took care of everything, and now it's up to just them going hand to hand essentially, because the trees are growing so fast that the strings can't do anything because they don't expand too much. They rip and break, and so now it's like a standoff between the two. And then I don't know what the fuck happens, but somehow, some way, he's like, yo, I've sown the seed. You may have stopped me now, but I've sown the seeds. And then back at the camp where everyone is, I'm going to summarize this with mass hysteria turned off sacrificial offering. That's what I can summarize it to. Somehow Naruto manages to control everyone with the Grand Actor staring at them, and controls them into offering Shiori as a sacrifice. What I do think is interesting is how they don't immediately go for it. They actually first are like, we sacrifice the youngest, and so they make them pull out their cards, their IDs, to like see when their birthday is. Which I don't know why, but I like that little detail that they didn't just immediately turn and go sacrifice her. They go through the process of just confirming that she's the youngest. And then they chase her. Kinosaki's like, yeah, let's run. They jump. They survive. And then that's when, somewhere around there is when we switch back to Geto and them. And Naruto decides to be like, yo, I'm going to make a violin out of some hair and a tree. And yeah, I can't explain that one at all. Like, I could maybe explain something else earlier on. Maybe I could probably stretch the imagination and think of something. but I can't figure this one out, bro, at all. And that's basically where they end the episode. They might not end it right there, but that's basically the last thing I remember for the end of the episode. And the episode, so with that said, the episode was really good. And it's so insane to me. And I don't have much else to say, so I'm just gonna ask you this question. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. And again, you can check out the Patreon for the full-length free reaction. Just become a free member, and you can check it out. And maybe you can become a member. You get a shout out in every video, and you also get access to the exclusives that I do occasionally. So yeah, helps me out a lot. Honestly, it honestly does help me a lot. It's the patrons are the only reason I'm able to still do this, despite the situation that I've been in. So it genuinely means a lot. I know I don't say that often, but it does mean a lot. And so with that said, again, do all that good jazz. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hide the video in the YouTube mobile app. And if you're still here somehow, when you're leaving a comment down below, if you're still here, tell me what your favorite food is. Sure, let's go with that. Just to make sure you actually watch to the end. Your favorite food. Let me know what it is when you're leaving a comment on the episode. But yeah, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, my name is Mark. Never stop being yourself. Stay safe and I will see all you incredible people in the next video.